Alright, what do we got here? We stopped off with the push-ups, iron Kilosaurus. We've got all the ones in that row. It's just the bottom row left on this page. Oop, wrong side. So, we're ready to. There's one riding a rocket. There we go. Nice and early, right? I'm trying to stick this one here. I'll zoom in where I'm working. Should do that up top too. And bring it down. There we go. Should be a little better. There, arms there. Let's see, I might have made it onto the next page. We've got 2 more pages after this left of the book. Good morning. Looks like someone was asking a question just as I was leaving last time about drawing on an angled surface, and it's a good idea to do that. It reduces parallax. So the distortion from looking at something at an angle, so it's kind of more facing directly toward you. It's a good idea. Everybody catch my sequence of stories last night? I was sitting around after dinner, sifting through media, seeing what nightmares are out there. We got the rocket one up. Oh, just more AI nonsense. Apparently, Apple has been relying on it to write its news story. So Apple has this news app, right? And it gets a lot of stories wrong. And then I think OpenAI announced that they're licensing the data from, I think it's the AP, the Associated Press, which is interesting because they've claimed that they did not need to license data that was publicly available, that it was unnecessary, and that this was, if it's publicly available, they can use it, but apparently they feel the need to license some stuff from people. A more recent one is they put out this statement saying that that their plan for the future, what they see as kind of the optimal situation for the development of these systems, is to have everything available to them for free, and then have the government build infrastructure for them, so power plants and data centers and things like that, fund that, and then be able to sell all this stuff back to us. It's like, if that's your business model, it's not very good. So that was one that I brought up the other day. And it's pretty clear we're dealing with a lot of hucksters, to me anyway. I also noticed that I guess someone was commenting on Twitter, and I haven't looked myself yet, but a number of the major kind of NFT sites are kind of starting to go dark. Which is interesting to me, because I wasn't really against them per se. I was like, well, it depends on what they do and how it functions. I never got on the bandwagon of it, but I was definitely curious. I knew at least one person that did really well in the early days, who was friends with that Beeple fellow. But because I could see digital property or digital tokens or whatever being a thing, but it didn't. I wasn't sure if this was like the thing to do, or if this is just another flash in the pan. It definitely looks like it's turning out to have been just that. You can often tell when something is kind of a flash in the pan like that, where it's a temporary view of success like that, when the people treat it as kind of a get-rich-quick scheme rather than like a long-term thing. And that was kind of one of the things that kind of sat in the back of my head with the NFT thing, is like, it seemed like the valuations of things were just so extraordinarily high that it didn't really make any sense to me. And that has like the hallmarks of that. It seems the same thing to me with the AI stuff. Is it seems like it's a very kind of overestimating the potential of that technology and its value in the future. It's not that there's aspects of it that don't have value, but kind of what people are projecting onto it doesn't make any sense. Plugging through this row. Just gotta scoot that over a little bit so it's visible. There we go. Well, the thing is, at least with Bitcoin, it's been around a long time. I mean, it's been around for what, 12, 15, 20 years, something like that. It's these other things I'm talking about, they've lasted like a couple of years. And I think the major attraction towards the digital currencies like a Bitcoin or Ethereum or other things like that is Well, I think one partially is the get rich quick thing, but I think initially people that were into it, like it wasn't really worth very much when it launched, and for a long time. I think I have one friend who did well off of it. I've never asked him about it, but he like doesn't work anymore because he was a big booster of it initially. I don't know what his exact story is there, but haven't talked to him in a long time. He's kind of a hippy dippy guy, but he but he was kind of a booster of it initially, like saying, "Oh, wow, this thing's really interesting." You know, it's interesting as a concept, right? But I think it wouldn't be as popular as it is if it weren't for how governments manipulate currencies and cause persistent inflation with the way that they manipulate the money. And so I think that's kind of the larger issue at hand. Like if we were on a money system that worked and made sense, you know, if the world wasn't dependent on the dollar for everything, for example, or the euro, like I'm sure you noticed the difference between how things were priced before and after the euro in Greece. I know Spaniards, they like to complain about it. I think there's a lot of people that regret the euro. There's one more over here. Actually, I need to slide this over to get to it. But yeah, I think if the way money is handled by nations now, if it wasn't handled the way it was, then you know people wouldn't take the digital currencies as seriously, or wouldn't care about them. So I think that's the bigger issue. Like it's like you can't save money, right? Because if you do, it just loses value. Like there's no point in saving anything, you know, unless you're trying to make a very specific purchase at the time. So it's a whole economy that's fueled on debt, which is a lot of where the speculative markets come from. Is everything being driven by the central currency into speculative markets, because you know, if you can't save for the future, it just loses value nonstop. Then you got to put it somewhere where it can at least accrue, won't lose its value, much less, but maybe hopefully will increase in value, and that's, you know, what the stock markets do. And that's the reason why we're so dependent on investments and other things like that, is because we have no choice. What's funny is these things are actually really well understood. Like it's not hard to kind of talk about or understand, but people try to make it that way so that don't recognize why things are happening the way they are. And better news, I did find a really great little tutorial. You know, if you know what you're looking at, you can kind of read into it. But Nico Marley, who's a really great concept artist, he apparently did a course with CGMA a long time ago, based off of this video on YouTube. And he he's a really great concept artist. He has a very unique kind of style and approach. He uses like an orange pencil. He uses ink and apparently black pencil. And some white ink and marker, which I didn't realize he was using a marker for his gray tones. I assumed he was using like an ink wash or something, but marker makes more sense because it's a lot faster. Which I didn't know, so now I know. But apparently he had a class on CGMA for a while, way back when. It was funny because there was this sketchbook thing that got sent around to a bunch of concept artists back then, and it's like sketch travel or something like that, or something Bobby Chu was doing early on. But they did something with it. I forget exactly what printed it or something like that. But it was on his desk while he was working. It's like, oh, that goes back a long time now. So, but yeah, he has basic process where he draws with one of these. I think he does some kind of outlines with the black pencil, the black color pencil, and then goes in with the marker depending on the tone he wants, and then adds in white, and then touches things up after that. All right, so let's shift this little typewriter back over, get the ink out. Speaking of ink, there we go. I need to go buy a new orange pencil myself. This one's like almost gone. So yeah, it's just when I'm just kind of sketching with ink, I like the orange pencil, but when I'm using like the red, I like to pair it with the blue. I don't know what that's about, but you know, mazel tov, I guess. Oh, and yesterday I was commenting on a pen nib I was trying to find, and I found it. So maybe I'll use this today. I haven't used this in a long time. Does Cody actually wake up screaming, or is this just something Cody likes to say? Clean down a little bit or something. I grabbed the wrong thing of ink again. But I was excited about it, partially just because I've got a new sketchbook for Bramble. I finished off the last one. Well, it's got like 2 pages left in it, but they're like the last 2 pages, and those are the ones where you're dealing with the texture of the back of the book, and that always just kind of gets me the wrong way. So there we go. Now it's working. Yeah, got this fancy nib here, which I forgot about. So I kind of want to play with that Nico Marley technique. So yeah, but I completely forgot about this guy. But you kind of draw with like the side of it, so you're not just kind of drawing with the tip necessarily. I don't think it gets quite as fine a line as, say, the Hunt 102, but maybe it can if I like super careful with it. But it doesn't seem like it's really built for that necessarily. Yeah, I picked it up from Jet Pens. It's kind of this interesting site that carries a lot of kind of Japanese supplies mostly. But I think it was like $30 or something for it, so you know it's weren't cheap. Yeah, Jet Pens. I'm not sure, but it's mostly like it's for I'm sure they ship to Europe, but they're like located out on the west coast of the United States, hopefully unimpacted by the recent events. But they kind of bring in Japanese art supplies, um, like pens and different types of materials. Yeah, well, yeah, it's it doesn't the tip isn't gonna ever wear out, so it's like a one time purchase. So I got like a nicer wood handle for it that I spent a little bit extra on. Um, it's got a nice metal interior and things like that, so that way I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, Jet Pens. There might be an equivalent thing in Europe, or I don't know about Greece. So I've heard supplies can be a bit of a problem there. So, it's one of the kind of the advantage of there's problems in the United States, but one of the advantages it's such a big market, just because there's so many people here. Um, that even if you live in like a small town where you don't really have a good supply shop, it's pretty easy to get things and cheap to get things mailed to you. I definitely prefer going to an art supply shop most of the time, just because I like to see what's there, um, handle the things and whatnot. Um, Generally, I don't like buying brushes from art supply stores because I've found that they're often damaged by other customers handling them. And then they're still charging full price for them. And I'm just like, I'd rather have one that's just fresh out of the box. Yeah. So yeah, they do charge regular shipping too, because they're not Amazon or anything either, even for me. So it doesn't cost that much to ship to me, but they've got a bunch of different. They have a bunch of stuff on there, so usually it's the kind of place if I'm ordering something and I order a bunch of stuff. I know they had free rates for like if you spent over a certain amount, it would ship to me for free. But I don't know if they have that for kind of international shipping. But it might be worth is looking up the name of the nib and then seeing if there's other places to get it there a little bit closer. And then like there might be like a manga art supply supplier or something like that in Europe that's easier to get access to inside the EU. I don't know if international shipping rates, how they work with the EU or not. Or if they do. Like, is it free to ship between EU countries? Or is that a whole other animal? It doesn't cost extra, like there's no extra fees to pay on top of like no tariffs or anything. Well, it does a lot. It does a lot of good stuff. And probably the other ones are more easily available. This was just kind of a unique one. It kind of reminds me of what they had. There's glass. It was the reason why I came. Someone was asking me if I bought a glass pen. So on that Jet Pen site, they sell these pens that are made of glass, and they come in different colors. But basically, it's a dip pen like this, except like the tip has got like a spiral on it or something, and it's made out of glass. So it's kind of interesting as well. Yeah, well, this one, it's not. This one's hard to break. But yeah, the glass pen though could. I mean, I'm not sure. I've never used them. I'm not sure what kind of. Maybe they're made out of a really hard glass or something. But basically, it looks kind of like a dip pen. It's just made out of glass. You can see them on there if you type in glass pen or glass dip pen. Glass dip pen. But yeah, I don't know what they're. I've never used them. I've seen some people demo with them. I think on YouTube. So I was curious about what was going on. But I was excited about finding that Nico Marley video the other day, and then. Or yesterday rather, Reminds me, I need to kill my personal Adobe account because I've got this school one, and there's no sense in giving Adobe any extra money every month, right? Yeah, so I'll move this into position, right? So it's more visible. But yeah, based on it going, I might be able to do the Hulkasaurus on the next page. And then it's just a matter of finishing that up. Should be done with this book soon. You have to use GPS. Figure out where you're going. I thought taxi drivers had like 15 phones in their car. Scoot that over again, and scoot this over. All right. Is it really Friday already? We're back into school a full week. And we got Monday off due to Martin Luther King Day. So, there's that. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for dropping in. Good morning. Just about to finish this page off. Might pull out the Hunt 102 just for some finer lines on here, but appreciate that. Doing some studies from Terryl Whitlatch's Science of Creature Design. I think I'm here I can do a much finer line with this Hunt 102. It's like, you know, difference between like a butter knife and a steak knife. Alright, so this is page 157. Science of Creature Design. page 158, we got Hulkasaurus. Should have called it Hulkasaurus Rex, but yeah. Nobody checks with me when they're naming their things. Down to our last 2 pages of this book. So there's the book. I'm working from up here. Get this scooted over and up. The drawing will fit. Too far. I got my little doggy down here. Relaxed. Sleeping his morning away. Right there. Sorry, just oriented for a different camera. There we go. Should draw him in green, I guess, but trying to use up this little orange pencil. Oops. I really don't like this sharpener I picked up. Just makes a mess. Yeah, we got about 15 minutes, so let's see if I can get this guy nailed in. It's pretty long. There's a couple of pages left in here too, so it's kind of funny she did Bruce Banner as an Anole lizard, which is not a dinosaur at all, right? Got little tiny muscle arms up here. Hey puppy, what you doing down there? Why don't you lay down? Go sleep. A little crowded in there with the blanket being knotted up. Sorry, the dog's sleeping under my feet. Let's see, this goes to here. That's over there, which makes more sense. And then the leg, maybe that arm needs to go back a little further. There we go, now that makes more sense. Good morning, everybody popping in. How are we doing? We're on the last 2 pages of this book, which is kind of exciting. Might be able to finish up tomorrow. Probably not till the day after that. Unless I did like a final kind of blitz session on here. Not sure what my dog thinks about that, but mostly he just wants to, snuggle up against my leg. They don't have dual screens or whatever. Like I said, most taxi drivers seems like they have like 20 phones sitting in front of them. I remember that in Hong Kong. It'd be like multiple phones in front of the driver. Let's see, angle on that. Still too far. I see. Well, having multiple phones doesn't seem like it's that tech savvy. It's just, a bunch of screens. Hey, we've been waiting here the whole time for you to come back. Just been twiddling our thumbs the whole time. Everybody insisted. I guess I can pull that back now that I'm drawing him. Up on the YouTube. Well, the live streaming service side of things. But, yeah, I've seen it, in different countries I've been in. I've never seen it in Greece, obviously, because I've never, been there. As much as I like grease pencil in Blender. Alright, got the dinosaur in there. Let's get the Bruce Banner in here. And we'll finish inking these. And that'll be it for the morning. Kind of fun. I haven't really drawn dinosaurs since I was like a little kid or whatever, so. Like, so she's got the toes all splayed out. It's funny, this book I've been copying, it's literally taken up the entire sketchbook. I've got, like, you know, the back of the next page. That'll probably fill it up, and then there's one page after that. So, like usually it'll, you know, the books will fill up part of a book or something like that. But I guess this has fewer pages since it is a more expensive sketchbook. Alright, we got the annoli in there. Let's get the big lines in there. Could be the ink's just a little bit wet too, so it kind of drags it a little further than I'd like for this particular kind of nib. It's probably fine for other nibs that are smaller, but for the fat one, it might need to be a little bit thinner. I think, yeah, the other clip I have, sometimes it takes, you have a little pressure to get the ink flowing, and that can leave like a big mark. So I guess you could use a separate piece of paper for that, but you know, the blotter paper. That's just fun that you're trying to draw with the side of it. And kind of get these more gestural marks in there. It's not very sharp though, again, it puts down a lot of ink. Maybe I should do a little softer just to see what happens. Yeah, it still puts down a lot. Poor sleepy dog. He's leaning up against my leg and my foot. Wish I could put his little bed like right under me, but it doesn't quite fit because of the support underneath the table. If I could raise it up higher, I probably would do that, and that way he could squeeze under there a little better. But it's not an option here. But it's kind of fun, nib to use once in a while. Pull this out. I think I prefer the calligraphy one over this one, but it has kind of its nice little kind of sketchiness to it. Maybe I just need to kind of loosen it up a little bit. think it's just being quick rather than deliberate. Let's see if I can get a bunch of fast lines in here by drawing really quick. Good morning, people popping in and out. How are we doing? An hour and 11. All right, it's not too bad. So we'll finish this up here. Do a little detail pass on it with the hunt, I think. 1 out, 102 out, and detail it up a little bit. And good morning. Just touching this up and then call it a day. Oh, morning anyway. Got a lot to do today. Hey, Dr. Martin. How goes the war? Or did you just pop in and out? give him any shoes to wear though, so that's a bit of a concern, right? Good morning. Just about to finish up here, so for the morning. This is page 158. I've got one more page to sketch from left in the book up there. Technically speaking, I've only got one full page back and front left in this book, so I'll probably try and squeeze some of these sketches up over here and then move on to the back side of this page, and then that'll bring this particular project to a finish. But yeah, just kind of adding some probably pointless detail to this, but oh well. Yeah, I started this back in September. All right. So tone in there, and we'll write the page number, and today is the 17th, 25, not 24, 01, 17. So yeah, there we go. This morning's morning study all complete. So thanks to everybody that came in. I appreciate it, and we'll talk at you next time.